You there?
Yeah, I hear you. Do you hear me?
Yeah, you're in the car.
Got this jacket. Do I look at my tone way?
Jesus. What's up, Liam? How are you? Good. Don't forget, wait, you don't have the background, so we can see everything.
45 seconds. We gotta do it in 45 seconds. I mean 45 minutes.
Okay. Just you don't have the background though, just so you know.
See. But then if I put up the background, look what happens.
I know. It doesn't see your face.
Look at my blur. That's weird, huh?
Yeah, that is weird.
Think I'm gonna have to go like this. Does it look bad?
So you look fuzzy.
But I'm okay. I'm here, right?
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay. And then towards the end, I might cut off for you. I'm not
Shit.
sure. I'm not gonna cut off. Do you hear me now?
I hear you. Fine. You're good.
Yeah. Hold on, let me
How
get
are,
it.
how are you gonna be able to present?
I got this. Hold on. Fucking come on, Jesus. Been doing this since you were born. Oh. I messed up. I totally missed my game today.
Which game?
I had a high school game. And we're talking to assigners and I just fucking no showed. Never had done that way. I totally messed up. Like I forgot, you know?
All right, let's open it up.
So today I'm gonna be talking about how like don't miss your game, you know?
Don't tell anybody.
Oh, we won't know it. Can you see everything clearly?
I can. I can also see the ones you're skipping too.
I skipped the shitload away. I went right now and did it all.
Okay.
So it should be within 45 minutes. We might not even need a break.
Yeah, I say we don't give a break. We're just gonna power through it.
Okay, cool. And I don't know, it might not be that many people because most of the people did it last time.
Yeah, a lot of people are gonna be late too. They told me that they already texted me saying they're gonna be late or they're gonna have to leave early because some other chingadera.
Let me get everybody in. It's game time, right?
Yep, let them in.
It's only 25. So yeah, 45 minutes. All right, in the middle. We'll do bang, 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 bang. Oh, we won't stop. All right, good evening, everybody. I see everybody coming in. We're gonna mute everyone. Thank you for joining. Barton, good evening. I see Michael and Maida, good evening.
Hey, Guzman, good evening.
Thank you for joining. I see Leo.
Hi, good evening, everybody.
Good evening. If you're able to put your camera, please put it on so we're able to see everyone.
Buenas noches.
Buenas noches, Gabriel. I also see Fran Carmen. Good evening. Thank you for joining.
Can you guys see me, Juan?
Coming store around this time. It's my family.
All right, so we're
Oh,
gonna go as efficiently as possible
you're
through
cracker.
tonight's meeting. Thank you for joining. Um,
See my
we'll
green
start off with
slippers?
right away.
Whatever.
So let me just mute everybody. Give me a second.
It was on the table when it's gone. Oh,
If you can, mute yourself for now, that we don't have background noise. Savara, good evening. Good seeing you. All right, we're gonna start. First off, this is being recorded. Make sure that you act professional, in the chat and with each other. There will be some interaction, and we all know about Safe Sport. It expires every 12 months. We're trying to get to a place soon, and we've actually we have some update on that. They've allowed us to pick um, certain months out of the year to do Safe Sport at once. So we're gonna start talking about when is the best time. That way, referees don't fall off of the ROL, right? The registered officials list. So that's a big win for us. Before they didn't allow us to do that. So we're probably looking at either the time between July, August, or at the end of the year, which would be December, January, and picking just 2 months out of the year where people would do it all at once, and then we wouldn't have people falling off because of Safe Sport. So that's soon to come. That's a big for us assigners. That's a huge win. So once we get more information on that, we'll be able to tell you instead of just having everybody at different times and being a nuisance for us. So also on the reporting side, if you have any incident that happens to you or that you're made aware of by the referee or referees, make sure you send them to Safe Sport, right? That's where they'll be able to, file they're able to file a complaint or, just kind of talk to them about what happened. So make sure that you give them that information, and it's all on the CalSouth website if you need to know where it is. There's your support staff. We have a few people here. Jesus is director of assignments. You have a whole staff here to support you, right? So if you ever need anything, you can always reach out. We have our Center of Educations. We've been at Torrance. Thank you to South Bay for always having that available on a monthly basis. We're going to San Diego, and we're also trying to go into other spots of Southern California. If you know of any facility, right, we don't mind paying for it. We just want to invite as many people as possible so that we can have continued education, even if it's every few months in your area. And of course, we have official sports. We have Rise. They're helping a lot of referees currently, especially those that we're all independent contractors. I know that's always difficult, at least us growing up. As soon as you remember, trying to get a car loan as an independent contractor is no easy, is not very easy. But Rise has really helped us. They're willing to drop $50 to sign up for that. And they're also talking to us about the possibility of providing gear for new referees. So if they're able to do that and sponsor that, we'll make it available for everybody. We'll let you know soon. And of course, we have our monthly webinars. If you have trouble with referees, right? Let's say they're having trouble with game management, or you're getting complaints by the coaches of attitude, you can send them to our website. All of them are recorded, and you have some great instructors there, and they're topics from everything you can imagine. And you can have them, watch the video, take the quiz at the end, especially when you have referees that people have complained many times. There is a great resource to be able to to provide the referees. And I'm trying to let people in at the same time I'm talking. All right. Why do you want? Well, here it is. How many educational webinars or meetings have you had with your association? If you can write in the chat, please be honest. Either virtual or in person.
Our association done all 10 months. We are 1 month dark on December. South Bay.
All right. If you could put in the chat. And Jesus, do you have access to the chat, Jesus? I see 8, 7, 6.
Good evening, everyone. Yes, 9, 7s, 10s every month. 6. Patrick, you're falling behind. Michael with 7. Barton with 9, 8, 9. Good to see you, Barton. Francisco 9. Renee 9, 8. So a lot of 9s, a lot of sevens.
Growing up, Jesus, how important were these? Either I remember they were mostly in person, but how important were these to you as a referee?
As a referee, probably the most important. If you would miss a month or miss a session, it's kind of like high school. You were the one that didn't know what was going on, so last one to the cheese in the rat maze.
And I remember, working with in Bob and Friends Association, we would get our checks at the monthly meetings, and everybody would show up. And aside from just getting their check, there was some education that was given, and you got out of that meeting not only with a financial gain, but also with a few tips to make your refereeing a little bit better improvement, right? So um, going back to what's worked in the past, sometimes it's not a bad idea. I know it's a lot easier now with virtual, and it's a lot easier to pay referees through Zelle or Arbiter. But sometimes going back to what worked in the past is not a bad idea. So I'll leave that for food for thought. Let's continue on. We have our referee development camps. We added another one in Temecula in November. We've also added ID2, which is coming in February, which is the U.S. club. They asked us to do a camp for them during. It's very similar to the ODP that we do in Ojai. So if you have young referees that you think are good for continued education, they're usually 3-day camps, and we try to get an instructor from U.S. Soccer. So it's something that's very positive for the referees, and we invite all of you assigners to be part of that. We on the mentor program side, we don't service a league, we don't service a tournament. What we're looking for is the best possible games for these individuals that are trying to reach higher levels, higher licenses. So if you have games, let's say the finals of a league, and you would like the mentor program to take part in that, just let me know and we will get the mentor program there to help with the games, and then also we can have a mentor there or a referee coach there to watch them, to give them development tips. So this is available for every assigner, not just us, right? Which is Cal South. So if you have anything that you think isn't that would help these people trying to advance, please let us know. Jesus, anything you want to add on the mentor program?
No, guys, like always, the value that's the mentor program is the value of having it to be diverse as possible from different associations, different flags being out there, working together collectively as a group. Good examples are always made. For example, me coming from inland, one coming from Kafla, we always give back to our associations. So the associations that we have out there, produce the referees that we need for the future. So being part of the mentor program, is a great honor, and also it is also a privilege to have all those young referees out there trying to pursue something together.
Yeah, when they go back from these experiences, for instance, we have the camp in Las Vegas coming up and the camp in San Diego that I'm talking about, the ID2. Have them have a presentation with your group. Get the young kids motivated about what they experienced and how they're moving up. I think is a good way to support them. So excellent. Let me see. There's a few people waiting in the waiting room. All right. Okay, and then we have also our female development program. Please reach out to Penny or Anna. They're doing a great job. I think Anna's on here. Anna, anything you want to say about the female development program?
Excuse me, sorry, I'm sick. Maybe not. Sorry.
No, no worries, Anna. It was really well said, by the way. Um, and no, it's a great program. You can see the pictures there. There it's not just for female referees that are trying to move up in the ranks. This is a program to support all walks of life of a female referee, even on the administrative side, right? Which we know that there's not a lot of administrators, mentors, and we're trying to make a push towards that as well. So if you want to get involved, and you're a female, please reach out to these two individuals. Even if as an assigner, maybe you could help them with a certain level of games or events that you have. So that's also available for you. Congratulations to the referees of the year. We have also some distinguished citizens. Rick has won this award in the past. Is Rick on? Also, Gabriel, what was it a surprise? What did you feel when you won this award in the past?
Yeah, well, was really surprising, but was an honor too at the same time.
Thank you, Gabriel. Rick,
Yeah.
is Rick on? He's usually on, but
Yeah, he's not on tonight.
all right, sounds good. Probably because I didn't invite him. All right, let's move on. And this is also congratulations to you. Many of you have worked with these individuals. Um, Jay there is a national referee this year as well. So, it's part of the whole program, right? And what we've done for these individuals and those going through the pipeline. So, congratulations to everybody. Congratulations to the 26 national officials that have been selected to become a national referee for U.S. soccer. 21 Cal South referees. Let that set in. Last year, we had 14, and we led the nation with 14. The closest one was Florida with about 11. Now we have 21, and there's nobody near us. And it's because of the program that you and all of us have built together, right? It's a program of advancement. It's not a program of, just getting by and, I don't know. I think, and we had a mentor course, Jesus, this past week, and I don't believe I mentioned this, but, there is still a lot of referees that are very privileged, right? And sometimes, as an assigner, we try to put them on the best games and they're kind of prima donnas. But, these individuals are not like that. These individuals are the ones that go above and beyond. When somebody doesn't show up, they're the ones raising their hand to say, "Oh, I'll cover that match." And this is the culture that we want to create. Referees that know that we're there to service. We're not there for people to service us. And us as assigners, we need to build that culture. Jesus, any comments on that?
I think one of the things that's a privilege to carry the badge is knowing where you've come from. And I think, from the regional course, from the mentor course that we've had recently, it's one of the things that we're trying to instill in the next generation is that the badge is is prestigious. It is a badge of honor, obviously, but at the same time, we carry the responsibility to give back, and we are creating that future and that culture and cultivating it every single time that we step on the field. So, again, congratulations to all of these members. It's good to see the growth that we have. It's good to hear that we're number one, but at the same time, we're number one for a reason. It's because the ones in charge, you yourself, the assigners, are setting that standard. So we should all take a bow when we see our guys succeed.
Excellent. Well said. All right. And of course, we service all. We service all. And right now, US Soccer is actually doing an deep dive, basically an evaluation of its program, of itself. And, they've seen a lot of the issues that we face today, which is, the battle between US Youth and US Club, the battle between ECNL and MLS Next, and it's just diluting, uh, you know, the it's diluting, the best players, the best referees, and they are coming up with a solution to that. And the update of that solution is February of 2026 at their AGM. And their idea, because little birdies have told me, is that they are going to combine a lot of these programs that are doing the same thing but are competing against each other. So the first program to fall, which will be announced soon, will be um, the collaboration between ODP and ID2, the collaboration between some other of the alphabet soups that we have that are doing the exact same thing. And the idea is to bring it under one house, heading towards US soccer, heading towards our national team, right? And, so this update's coming. They've also talked to NCAA. That's why I put it on here, right? Which will be part of the ecosystem of US soccer. They've talked to MLS, USL. All of these organizations are at the table trying to create one program. Now, who's going to be in charge of what? That's going to be a difficulty, right? It's not going to be easy. I bet there's going to be a lot of organizations that are going to feel like they didn't get, their fair end of the stick. But what does that mean for us? We service all. We don't pick or choose. We're not exclusive to one organization over the other, right? We have to promote the game of soccer. and advance the referees and, provide education, all these things, we still keep doing our job. But it's just an update. Jesus, anything else you want to update on that?
Juan, I'm sorry, Jesus. They just remind me to tell you that we just finished the recertification and addition of new mentors this past weekend, the referee coaches and the mentors.
Excellent. Thank you, Gabriel. Jesus, anything you want to add?
Just to emphasize a few things, guys. When we say that there are changes coming, we always take it as a positive growth initiative. But at the end of the day, until you see those announcements come out, and obviously there's a lot of things that are changing within U.S. soccer. We are part of the conversation. Juan and myself have sat through these meetings. We will disseminate information as it comes through to us. But just remember that the one thing that we are looking for within ourselves is to make sure that we remove the aspect of we are exclusive. We're not. We are literally to it all, like Juan is saying. So we service every single one of the organizations to the best of ability under the umbrella of U.S. Soccer. So just want to emphasize that point that at the end of the day, we act as one and we do not divide ourselves in these moments.
And one of the things to mention also, and Jesus, thank you for that, is if you do assign unaffiliated matches, please let the referees know. Please let them know, because if a referee if you assign a referee and they think they're going to a match that's affiliated and something happens to them, they're not going to have the coverage, and it's not medical coverage, right, from US Soccer. It's legal counsel. That's what they get with their registration, is legal counsel. And so if for some reason something happens and you did not make that referee aware that it was not affiliated, that could potentially be an issue for you. So make sure, hey, these matches, it's up to you. You're an independent contractor, but just so you know, these matches are not affiliated. And if they take the games, fine. And if they don't take the games, we cannot force them, right? They're independent, and that's okay. But that's another something that I wanted to mention there, which was important. All right, and it's my pleasure to announce our new director of assignment. Well, I want to say congratulations to Andre. He was amazing throughout so many years. He helped the program in so many ways. He's still an advocate of the program. He's still running tournaments and he's doing a great job, and we're still supporting him in every way possible. However, Jesus, product of Southern California, came to the professional level, worked in MLS, and now he's giving back to the program, working with Cal South as full time as a director of operations, and also helping the referee program. He just amazing person, and I'm glad to present him. And thank you for being here for the program, Jesus.
Thank you for having me on. Thank you for the intro. I hope to execute mine later on. But yeah, guys, let's get to the meat and potatoes tonight. This is the Assignor course. We're going to go over some information. Some of it you already know, but we need to do a quick refresher. So license requirements, referee numbers as of current, up to date. We'll go over some of the law changes, make sure we understand them before we go into the State Cup season. We will power through the break, guys. I know time is important. It is Wednesday, and we care about your time, so we might power through the break and continue on. Hopefully, get us through this course a little bit quicker than the last one. Lastly, we're going to go over standards and expectations for assigners, and then we'll tap into the respect campaign and a quick Q&A at the end of the night. So my question to everybody, and if you could put it into the chat, would be, why do you want to continue to be an assigner, or why are you becoming an assigner? Quick note, a couple sentences inside of the chat would be great. Or just one word, just want to be there, whichever.
All right, so we have place the right referees to the right game. Serve as a backup for an association. That's another reason, and contribute to the community. They're all coming in rapidly. I love it. Another person, 25 years, hard work. I enjoy it. Development. I care. It's not, we support the next generation. We stay involved to the game, etc. There's some good ones there, Jesus.
Absolutely. What I like to hear and what I like to see is, the keywords commitment to, assign referees of quality, assign referees to learn, to develop. I'm seeing, to support the referees, support the referee community. Um, kind of speaking about background, right? You yourself at one point were being assigned and how that kind of changed your perspective on what you would expect on matches and develop. So we all start from somewhere. Obviously, the one thing that we want to do is contribute to the community as assigners. It's good to hear that for those of us that are continuing to assign. For those of you taking this course for the first time and are assigners this next year, welcome. This is a great group of guys that you can speak to, talk to. Obviously, from the chat, you can see that they all have the same mentality of developing and bringing out the best in referees. So welcome to those who are taking the course for the first time, and thank you for those who continue to support soccer. Now, guys, these are the requirements. You have to be 18 in order to be an assigner. They're the cost. You do have to take this course on a yearly basis, whether it be the first session or the second session. You just have to take one of them. Yes, we do have to take the regional referee quiz. For those of us that haven't touched a whistle in forever, it's nice to get refreshers, obviously understand the laws of the game. Guys, follow your safe sports, follow your cardiac arrest. All that information needs to be tapped into the system. You do not need to be getting any messages from Laura later on saying that you're missing something. So always remember to tackle these line items in your paperwork before we start the season. It's really, really important, guys. Where you would kind of find this information, obviously on the website, go to the Cal South website, returning referee and upgrades. Click on the tab. It will drop down to the menus where you will get all the list of information that you need to comply with and the checklist.
And so I also want to add here, you have the registered officials list, which we should be checking regularly, right? To make sure the referees are registered.
Absolutely. Rick's not on tonight, so guys, to talk about the assessments. So I'll give a brief overview. For any other additional questions, you can reach out to Rick and ask him, specific questions. But one of the things that we really tap into is to make sure that we fill out requests with time. Make sure your referees are looking to upgrade or looking to get their recertifications information or requirements done, that they send in information as soon as possible. Obviously, college games are no longer accepted or approved, and there isn't a shortage of assessors. So things need to be done in a timely manner. Make sure that they understand the matches that they're doing, and also make sure that those crews, every single one of the members that is on the crew, is on the ROL. It's happened already this year. The entire crew went out for an assessment match. The assistant referee wasn't registered, destroyed it for the whole crew, and the referee who had to continue had the assessment not pass. So really, really crucial that we kind of assign in that matter. Again, if you need follow-ups on that, speak to Mr. Rick Wren. Guys, we just had the one in Irvine. This is I'm sorry, we had one recently. We do have some of the last one of the physical year that can be done on January 11th. If you have officials that want to take the fitness test, make sure that they register. This will be the last one that's hosted here in Cal South. If they want to go abroad to not abroad, to other states to go ahead and take the fitness test, they would have to reach out to those SRCs. We can facilitate that, but as far as what we can host here, January 11th is the last one. National requirements, guys. Obviously, for officials that are first-time candidates, they need to fill out the application. The state committee will go ahead and process at least 2 years of fitness results. The one thing that we need to do is that the referees that are applying for national referee licenses need to understand that they have to have like a cumulative adult game count. That needs to be processed on their own. We can help them as assigners by giving them the game sheet or having one of your systems be able to help them out with that. But the main thing is to understand that they do have to have a certain amount of numbers, which will show you the requirements in the next slide. But we need to answer a specific question before we go into those details. And that is, why do us as assigners need to know the requirements of referee registration? So in the chat, guys, why do we need to know this?
All right, so we have liability, 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 and that's most people are saying that.
The good thing is we have the answer.
It seems like
good.
everybody's saying liability.
Perfect.
We're a common touch point for information for new and returning officials. Well done, Chris Neville.
Beautiful.
Almeida said, help guide new referees and support them, and help the program. Excellent. Jesus.
Excellent. No, like we said, guys, the requirements, you guys are saying it. We need to understand the liabilities behind it. We need to understand why we're developing the referee. It's also really important, I think, Sabata, you said it right. It's, we are the ones that give the information to the referees. So assigners, they are your go-to, they are your mentors, they are looking for advice. This is how you know is you have to know the referee's requirements going forward, not just to become a referee, but also to exceed in upgrades and in their careers. For those of us who need glasses, take a little squint your eyes if you have to. So these are the numbers for the last couple of years. As you can see, this is a 20% growth in each of the categories. Something to kind of we talked about in the last course that's kind of easy to mention is how our mentor programs have grown, how we've developed in terms of making emeritus referees, national referees become mentors as well. That has also seen an exponential growth. We want to continue that trend, guys. So if you do have referees that are out there every weekend and they also want to participate in the mentor program, we need mentors. We need people to be able to support these programs. And on top of that, if you notice the referee growth that we've had, it's been incrementing, but we've also had a lot of good retention in the last few years. But at the same time, we've also had a majority exit, and we'll go into details as to why it's happening and what we can do to change that. Want anything to add about this slide?
I think it's just informational, right? We aren't, we're trending in the right direction, but we need still help from everybody. It cannot just be the 5 people on our committee trying to push for recruitment. If you have connections with the clubs, which you obviously do, maybe setting up a clinic for them, for the people that are aging out, those that are involved with community college and want to set up a clinic, let us know and we'll facilitate that. And here are some fun facts, Jesus.
Fun facts, guys, from our oldest referee that's out there, which, I would call it more experienced than oldest. But, the youngest, again, the 2012s, we have a new graduating class of the 2013s that are coming through. Top cities are LA and San Diego. No real surprise there. In terms of major cities, really do producing. But I do think that in many of the areas that we're out, the high desert is doing really well with getting referees recruited. Same thing happening in Coachella and all the outside outskirts. The Inland Empire is doing really well with that. So let's continue to grow these numbers, guys, and also hold our numbers true. So we are hosting virtual courses. These virtual courses are meant to bring in referees, but the course is not complete once they complete the virtual course. They need to be more involved in the mentor guidance part of what we do. Now, mentoring is now more vital than ever to grow, and retain our referees that are coming through. We do provide the online to get more registrations in, so we have more officials out there. But as associations, as assigners, we should be assigning mentors to them. Don't leave them to the wolves by themselves. They need mentors. Contact us for the mentor program or create mentors within your association. Guys, everyone can host an entry-level clinic. Every association, if you have access to fields, if you have access to a classroom, complete the job form. If you can take a screenshot of your screen, just simply enter that into a web browser. You can go ahead and fill out the form. Highly encourage us to use our resources that we have, bring it to the community, bring it to your area, talk to the DOCs of your clubs that you service out there, tournaments, saying, hey, we would love to get a facility, we'd love to host something, to bring in instructors. That's the one thing that we can provide our instructors. Juan, myself can go out there to just inspire the youth to become referees. Juan, something to add to this?
Yeah, also there's the opportunity of doing scrimmages, or within your associations, you can hold, if you have a mentor or a referee coach in your association, you can also hold these courses in-house and then provide us the list of who attended, and we will honor that list. Rigoberto does a great job of that. Rigo, do you have anything that you want to talk about that? I know that you do that on a regular basis and really help us move forward.
Yeah, basically the clubs that we work with, they have often scrimmages. So we work with them and say he allow us to do the training, small groups, and practice with their games. And they say yes. So it is practical to us since we are not tied to a specific date. So they are open to any time.
And that also fights the in-person course. So you would send the list to Laura. Hey, we did this preparation training for 10 referees in our association. A referee coach can do that and then send it in. Even a mentor can do that and send it in to Laura, and that'll be suffice for their virtual course as well. So that's something that we've done for a few years now. So if you want to take advantage of it, you can, right? And we'll support you in that.
Actually, in regards to that, the administrative part of the honoring the training, Laura and Lee and Juan, they're very helpful with that, and it makes it really easy to get on board new referees.
Thank you, Rigoberto, for doing that. Jesus.
So guys, obviously to check, how do we check for the ROL to see if referees are registered? Obviously you can see from the slide that, we can basically go into the approval list, go to the directory, you can look up their names. You can also find the information on the CalSouth website as well. But if you're looking at the US soccer website, you do this. What could happen if a referee, and this is more of a question for the group, so I'll start by asking if anyone can answer these in the chat. So for everyone, can you guys answer what can happen if I assign a referee not registered? Anyone in the chat?
All right, they're coming in.
Suspension.
Risk of losing your assigner license, no insurance if something happens, suspension, liability, no Cal South protection, possible sanctions. Jesus.
All those are possibilities. Guys, the one thing we cannot do is we cannot risk. We have to check the ROL. We have to check to make sure that we are assigning referees that have done their paperwork, do understand that they have their background checks. We have to keep soccer safe. Not only that, but we also have to protect the referees from themselves. A lot of situations are happening out there where, whether the referee is right or not, or if the referee puts himself in a situation, they are not covered if they are not registered. And we as assigners need to be conscientious of that. So it is really important to understand the cause and consequence. I had many people in my life tell me that, we do not learn until the worst happens to us. Unfortunately, guys, the worst is happening. And yet we're still not following processes. Highly recommend that we understand that. I want to ask the group one more question before we go to the next slide, and that is to answer the last one. How do we support referees trying to register? What are ideas that you guys have? What is something that you put into practice when you guys are looking to support those referees?
All right, here we go.
Chat, guys, best practices you have.
We improve emails, embedded links. We send them information they need. We walk them through it. We remind them, especially right now that we have the end of the year, that their registration will fall off on December 31st. Weekly reminders. So, Jesus, what do you think?
For those of us that are, looking to what is the best practices, you're hearing it from the ones that know. Weekly email outs. We're looking at the point of contacts. I love the thought of passing it over to the board of directors of your associations to help them process things. Guys, keep your boards active. You're the assigner. They have their responsibilities too, and that's to service the membership within their organization. So yes, get the board involved in keeping the retention. Make sure that everyone's registered. Don't put it all on yourself. That's one thing as an assigner that is creating the networks that you have within your system, and then also working with other assigners as well and seeing what they do to keep those referees in the registration system. Next slide, guys. Juan, I'm gonna let you talk about this, but one of the things that I like about the platform, this visual, is these are the platforms we use for assigning. Each one of them have different sources. Some of them are favorites, some of them are not. Some of them talk to each other, other of them not. I think one of the best, things that we could talk about, and maybe we could speak amongst ourselves right now, is what is your guys' go-to? I use Arbiter for the mentor program. I hear good things about Godsport. I hear good things about Assigner. I have not seen the referee assigning system since I refereed, so I haven't seen that in a minute. But what are your guys' thoughts? Which do you feel is the most center? So I'm going to call on somebody. Barton, what is your opinion about, any of the platforms that you use?
I don't use either of these. I assign by hand all the way, and I'm constantly in emails and text messages or even phone calls. I
Good.
do high school assignment with Arbiter. That's it.
Barton, if it ever rains, I get worried. Mr. Robert,
It's
how are you?
working with me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love it. Mr. Robert, what about yourself? What do you use? Sorry, my friend, you're still on mute.
Pretty much used Arbiter for the high school assigning. A little bit of Godsport. Arbiter seemed to work the best, but like you said, Godsport is there too.
Yeah. Bubba, what do you think? What assignment system do you think works best for you? What best practice, what advice do you have for the group in terms of the assignment platform system?
I actually don't have a lot of experience on the administrative side with anything but Arbiter because I've only assigned high school and then NOCRA stuff through Arbiter. So I don't have much. I have stuff on the referee side, but not from the back administrative side other than Arbiter.
Gotcha. Perfect. And thank you for the putting stuff in the chat. Speaking about the great platforms that are out there, Mr. Juan Guzman, what do you think?
Yeah, I think I've used all of them, right? There's leagues that use Assigner, there's leagues that you have to use Arbiter. I've spoken to referees. The modern referee has probably 10 of these platforms that they use, and it's hard to upkeep everything. So they're all good for certain things. I would say a league base would be more of an arbiter. If you're talking about a tournament, maybe God Sport or Google Sheets is probably easier when you have sub assigning. So they're all a little bit different, but I think knowing a little bit of all of them is important as an assigner, as you might be using it because of a league and what they want to use at the time. So it's good to know a little bit of all of them.
Absolutely. And it's really important, guys. I think that one touched on the last point, just to understand systems and how they work. Whether you use them, on a regular, but just understanding where referees are coming from and how things can be confusing. Referees that you currently assign could be using all the platforms. And the reality is that we have to make sure that they understand how to accept, especially when some of these programs do not talk to each other.
That's word was a nightmare.
Laws of the game and modifications, guys. We did have some law changes this year. We'll talk a little bit about your guys' experience. Mr. Nicolas, how are you?
I'm doing well, Jesus. How are you?
Good, 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 my friend. Can you do me a favor, when you go to the next slide, please? Can you talk a little bit about this procedure and this law change for this year and your experience with it?
Yeah, so the law changed with the goalkeeper, and the use of the hand signal they have a limit. We're enforcing the limit now with the laws of the game. That was part of the update. You're talking about my experience as a referee enforcing this?
Yeah, well, not only as a referee, but what have you as an assigner experienced it? Have you gotten feedback? Have any of your referees that you've assigned, or going to assign, what is your feedback on it?
I haven't assigned much. It was mostly with adults, and so a lot of them were, at least for those teams for the referees that I assigned, most of the players already knew about this update. So for me, it wasn't as a big of a deal to enforce it, more of just a reminder to the referees. But I could see for like the youth, it might even adjustments. So I would say more so if I were to assign more youth, it would just be just a more of a constant reminder to the officials to enforce this because it's so new and then a lot of the youth probably aren't as familiar with it.
Absolutely. And I agree. I think best practices are obviously to get ahead of the curve. Speak to your referees about the law change when law changes happen. This one's a big one to change only because, like you said at the beginning of the season, especially in September, it was happening to a lot of referees. The players, the coaches, the parents of all people were confused. So keeping up to date with the laws of the game is probably the most important thing for an assigner because you have to prepare your referees. Whether that be, we talked about what we do for registration. Well, the same thing applies for these, law changes that happen or the application. It's also a very important teaching moment. If you have a referee that is servicing the game for the very first time, very first season, and they have a law change in that season, imagine the pressure that they're in when they have to enforce it for the first time. So key point is always to create structures around it.
Hey, Jess.
Go ahead. Oh, sorry. I thought I heard someone had a suggestion. Was that you?
Can you hear Ed?
Oh, I'm not sure. Did you have a suggestion, Ed?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead and speak a little louder because it's a little soft.
My speaker's all messed up. It's cheap.
Gotcha. I got you. Man.
Okay.
I agree.
No, we've informed all our referees just to about the new rule change, but also to inform the teams and reminder to the goalkeepers. Just preventative and not create the problem since it is new to everybody. And it's still going to be new going forward. So just a little proactive officiating with teams and players.
Beautiful, Ed. That's perfect. And good to see you, my friend, as well.
You too, brother.
All righty, guys. Let's talk a little bit about the considerations. This is something we kind of asked at the regional course, referee course, and I'm kind of curious about the feedback from the assigners. How often do we mention the considerations to the officials that you assign? And this is more of a poll. Do we mention it? Just put it in the chat, guys. How often do we mention the considerations whenever a referee comes to you with a problem? At our monthly meetings, we use them four meetings this year. Every time they needed to write a supplemental. Yeah. It's about right. Supplementals, considerations, weekly meetings. So some fun facts, guys. One of the things I mentioned in the regional referee course that, I found a lot of the referees write down immediately was that after a match, whether they have a positive experience or a negative experience, to read the considerations. There's always going to be a decision on the game where they are not exactly sure what they call, and going into the study mode of understanding that helps them write those reports, helps them understand the game at a higher level. So, in this course, we're asking you guys to start making your referees think at a higher level. That is no longer just, hey, I assign you to matches, and then, good luck to you. It's I assign you to matches. Give me a call after your game. Let me know how it went. Did you have to consider the considerations? Let's talk about it. Be proactive with them because we're only going to educate our referees at a much higher level. We all have done it. We have all gone home from games. We've thought about, hey, that match went well for me. I really want to be experiencing higher level matches, but in order to get to that level, I need to start having those discussions. I need to understand the laws of the game at a higher level. The considerations are there for that purpose, to teach referees what to be considered on the match and how they should be applying them to the laws of the game and apply those laws of the game to the matches. So, guys, we're going to power through this break really quickly. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Juan Guzman, former FIFA referee, the youngest FIFA referee to ever be appointed. He has done a lot of great things. He has a current SRA. He's developed a sense of understanding of what's the future holds, and he incorporates all of us in it. It truly is a great pleasure to work with him at the level that we're working, to have these courses together, to give back to the community that has helped us. So, without further ado, Mr. Juan Guzman.
Thank you, Jesus, for that. I appreciate everybody for being here. I think this is one of the ones that are really important for us. What are the expectations? What are the standards for an assigner? And you can see some of the terminology here, giving opportunity to referees, putting them on matches. You could see creating positive relationships. I think those are one of the big things that will help retention. And then obviously without referees, there is no game. So, these are the standards and expectations of an assigner. We're going to go through a few of them. And these are ones from US Soccer. It's straight out of their assigner course information, and it gives you a few expectations there. One of the ones that stand out is the being open-minded. I think we all realize as assigners that we're just not people that are putting pen on paper or just assigning on a platform. We have to be so many things. We have to be sometimes relationship counseling. We have to do uh, you know, logistics of how to get there. So many things that are involved with that. So having an open mind that it's just not a cookie cutter, it's not a black and white thing. There's so many aspects to assigning. And the other thing is the being friendly. I think the more that what I've realized is, especially in my experience with assigners, the more they do it, 3, 4, 10, 15, 20 years, there's so many things that have happened to the assigners that the ones that are really experienced, you start feeling kind of a negative energy in the tone of their emails, in the tone of their voice. And keeping that positivity, even if you've done it 20 years, is still important, right? Because people are going to want to be part of your organization. But if we're sending emails and it's all negative, or it's an or else this happens, a lot of referees don't want to be a part of that and they might just give up. So, if you're getting to a point where that's happening to you, I would seriously consider having somebody help you with some of that administrative work. Or, hey, this is not for me, because we need to have a positive environment. How you treat the referees, that's how they're going to treat people on the field, right? And I think that's important. Jesus, anything you want to add on this?
It's cultivating cultures, guys. And more importantly, the environment. I think, if we foster, tense, high stress environments with referees, we lose them. And that's just kind of how it is. The one thing that we need to do is understand the respect and the friendly part that you play, because when I reflect on my career as a ref, as an official, I remember my assigners. I remember how helpful they were. They were guides in terms of where I was seeing myself. But if you foster that negative energy with them, and yeah, some referees are very difficult to work with, but you need to cover matches. It's one of those things where if we don't find common ground, we're going to foster that negative environment. So Juan's right. Sometimes we have to, navigate, understand it. If you have, great, comment right now. If you have a problem, write positive emails. Try using AI. It's 2025, guys. We got help with grammar. You don't got to worry about, an LO, an LOL messing up your email. We got assistance now.
Yeah, and here's some practical assignments. Thank you, Jesus, for that. One of the things that stand out here is, you got to know the basics as an assigner. Giving the competition rules to the referees is key. Letting them know what time they're expected to show up. How are they expected to show up? Right. And then also, practical assigning is going out and watching the referees. Right. Some associations become so big, or some assigners become so big, that they know 20% of the people they're assigning. That's not something productive. I don't think it's the best practice. We got to know who we're putting out there, right? And we got to know how can we create a pathway for them so that they can improve. And at the end of the day, it'll help you as well, because you'll receive less complaints. So that's practical assigning to me. Another one that stands out here is we have to listen to people as well. If we got to hear, what they go through, right? And we have to be compassionate. So, excellent. Let's move on. Here's some administrative things here, dealing with problems, balancing conflict and demand. Some of the referees, they're not, like Jesus said, they're not easy to work with. They only want to travel 20 miles and they only want to do games from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. And then, they are available after 10 p.m. All these things
Oh,
that
12.
we have. Yeah, Ed, I see you laughing, and we know those referees.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, we have to set the standard. And this is where I talk about um we are the ones servicing. We're as assigners, we're servicing the referees, and the referees servicing the community. And it's not just about what's convenient for them. Sometimes if they have to stay an extra game, we have to cultivate that culture. But if we just give in to empty excuses, we're creating a culture that is going to backfire on us in the future. So I suggest we set the tone, just how we do when we used to referee. We set the tone from the beginning. These are the requirements for me to assign you. And if they don't like it, they're independent contractors, they can move on to the next assigner, right? Or eventually they'll find out that all of us are very similar and they have to change and modify their behavior to be able to be assigned, right? So anything you want to add, Jesus?
Yeah, guys, I think you nailed it at the very end when you said consistency, guys. If we all follow the same dynamic of, holding the standard, referees will start getting the big picture, right? Which is doesn't matter where I go, I don't necessarily get all. I have to find common ground. I have to be able to support the community because referees will tell you, I'm here for the community. I want to make the game better. Sometimes that means going a little bit above and beyond every once in a while, helping out the assigner, helping out the community by being flexible, and it's a little bit more responsibility, especially the next generation that's coming through, which we can all agree the next generation is very different than the way we were in the old days. We understood the differences between a referee that had to be there all day, okay, versus now where we really, really try to support them and make sure that we keep them along. But there is a bit of sacrifice. You're going to hurt a little bit. I think the best quote I've heard recently is accept the discomfort and you'll find riches. Accept the discomfort. Doesn't mean you got to go hurt yourself. Just be uncomfortable a little bit.
Well said. All right, we have some more best practices here. We got to be organized. That's one of the hardest things for me. I still say it. We have to have computer skills. I know, Vartan, you say you do everything by hand, and I think you send a note to the referees on some kind of a mule or something, and they get it within 2 weeks. I think we can do emails now. It's a little bit more easier than it was in the past. I know some of the people here on the call worked the first years of MLS, and you would get your assignments through the post mail, and it would be for 2 games 3 months from now. That doesn't really work now, right? I think everybody can see all of the platforms that we have that can help us, even paying through some of the platforms which didn't exist before, right? So take advantage, be as practical as possible, and you have some here. uh, the leagues they're all different. They want different things, but I think one of the most important things that I've seen is the payment part. That's always been the issue. Getting paid after matches, especially from a big tournament, you got to be very careful, especially if you don't trust the individual that is running the event. Ask them for, and we're not trying to create mandates, but recommendations is ask them for something up front. Because if you don't know these people and you're stuck with a 15, $20,000 bill of the referees and they don't pay you, right? We'll help you. And we've done it in the past. There's some people here that we've gotten involved and we've said, you better pay this assigner or else you won't have games for your entire season. We've done it a few times. It's a card that we don't want to pull, but we will do it for you. However, you also have to be we also have to do your due diligence and say, hey, I don't know you. I require 50% of deposit or whatever for the fees. And if they don't want to work with you because of that, the next assigner should tell them the same thing, right? And lowering fees for referees, that's a big thing that I went through as a referee. Jesus went through as a referee. Just to get the business, we got to be careful. We cannot devaluate each other's work, right? We've gone to a certain point where yes, we're not going to do that for free anymore. There's a lot of cost involved. Gas is expensive. Our time is valuable. So make sure you do the right thing for the referees. Jesus?
I think one of the payment, guys, is going to be an issue. But the beautiful thing about is nowadays is that we're entering 2026. 2026, we're moving away from checks. We're moving away from, dealing with cash. We're trying to put everything electronic. For those of us who are participating in the State Cup this year, you'll see that momentum change within Cal South for the State Cup. But one thing I will tell you is getting organized is the biggest thing I see in that slide. I can tell you right now on my end, I see a lot of associations that are waiting for something coming from Cal South. I'll tell you right now, it's in my purview, but we got to figure out how to get these information in quickly. But more importantly, on the organizational side, make sure you cover your referees. Make sure that they understand that you yourself are organized. It doesn't matter if it's pen and paper, and if it doesn't matter if it's a computer. The point is to be organized.
Excellent. Thank you, Jesus. And this is the slide that Gabriel produced 6 years ago. Gabriel, do you want to deliver it? It's the bonus round. We have Gabriel delivering the slide.
Bonus round.
Gabriel, are you here? He was here. Okay. Jesus, pretend you're Gabriel. I'm just kidding. It's your turn, Jesus. Deliver the slide.
I have to bring the inner like Chilean out of me to get that. All right, guys. We are outdated with the laws of the game. The competition rules, we double dip, we sub assign. Are we honest, assigners? Do we do things in favor of the community? Do we steal tournaments from others? This is the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, I don't know if there's good in this. I don't know if there's bad in it, and I don't think that's ugly, but there's a neutral way of doing business, guys. And I look at it the same way we kind of look at business. The good is that we identify, what's best for the group. The bad news is when we don't identify anybody and we just do things for ourselves. But more importantly, when the ugly happens, we just don't necessarily care about the community. I think it's just one thing that we need to understand as assigners. And Fran, I think you said it the best right now. I'm going to use your quote, so thank you for that. Do unto others as you would like to do unto you. And that is the sum of this entire slide, guys. In a non-Chilean accent way, what he is talking about is having respect for each other, understanding that everything that you're reading on the slide is happening.
The time is 8 p.m.
And then my AI just went off and told me what time it is.
It'll be time for bed in 30 minutes.
I gotta go to bed in 30 minutes.
Who has that running?
So tell you about AI and how it works. One of those things where Chris, great, ethical. I was getting to that point. It's just about being ethical, and that is the key. One.
Right, it's all yours, Jesus.
1 second, guys. Let me turn off my AI before it says something else.
I think Jesus has to go to bed. Don't you have to
Yeah,
go to bed?
30 minutes, guys. Have a schedule. Be organized. All right, guys. Let's talk a little bit about our respect campaign. We've beaten this drum for the last 6 months, but let's talk a little bit about it. I'm not going to bore you with it because I know that Lee has done a great job getting you all the information that you need. Obviously, guys, we have a zero tolerance for the policy against abuse, against assaults, against racism at any level in the game. It needs to be stamped out of our game. How is it that we do it? Referees are going to be wearing armbands. You can go to right now to the official sports page and buy this badge. This what I call a badge of honor. All right, because respect is important on the field, especially the green one. Guys, these are the young ones that are under the age of 18. Those are the ones we need to protect the most. How do we protect them? We do pre-games. We make sure that we understand, like, hey, Today, we're going to focus on this. We're going to make sure that you're taken care of, be confident in your decisions. We'll be able to develop. What is the abuse program? The abuse prevention policy specifically states that there are consequences now for those that conduct any type of assault, any type of abuse towards a referee. We have spoken to the leagues directly. CSL, SoCal, they've all agreed. Everyone has said the same thing, that they are going to take it very seriously when it's reported. It is 100% on the assigners to help referees. We assigners need to help referees fill out the proper paperwork to submit so that these causes get stamped out of our game. There are obviously steps we need to take. There are stages. We do not put consequences on there. We just report. Lee has been pounding us into the ground with the way that we use our language. It's bringing up our level in terms of the way we referee, but more importantly, the way that we report things. You know, referee standards should be the same. We need to control our matches. Things will happen. But I want to make a more of an emphasis this year more than any other year that if we do not improve referee performances, we are going to continue to have situations in which abuse can happen. Our job is not to necessarily stomp out the game by saying we're going to be, for every little time I'm said something, I'm going to write a report. This is the time where we improve our refereeing to give no doubt that these people don't know what they're talking about, that they're disrespecting us without merit. Okay, that is the key, because a lot of times we focus more on the fact of what was said, but not what led up to what was said. And what led up to what was said has much value in terms of what has been said, because we can find methods to prevent it from happening by improving our ability as assigners to tell our referees, we need to be prepared for the match. Be ready for the match. This could be a difficult match for you if you're not prepared. Key point is make sure that we understand the laws of the game. Guys, this is a standard match report, supplemental, use the laws of the game and the policy language. Do not go off on own talent just telling us a story. If it's more than 4 pages, guys, we are getting way into, you know, the who, what, when, where, why, when all we need is the what, why. Okay. Main point is, guys, make sure as assigners that we help the referee write these reports. It goes to the competition. It goes to the SRC. Okay. And if it's assault, we need to file with the police, safe sport, and all of the standards that go along with that.
We have an update also from US Soccer on the referee side, is that for 26, they will have a website where you're able to report these directly to US Soccer. So that's coming. And once that website opens, then we'll be able to communicate to all the assigners and all the referees that they are able to report directly to US Soccer, which I think is going to streamline, especially, you know, when coaches or players try to circumvent and go to another league. Their registration with US Soccer will be there, and then that issue or incident will follow them wherever they go. So I think that's going to be a huge advantage to be able to have teeth to this more so than it's been before.
That's good.
Guys, take a screenshot. These are the contacts for the leagues. These are the contacts for the member organizations. These are the people that you would email. Okay, these reports too. Really important, guys, that this slide gets to all of you, that we understand. We'll leave it up for a little bit so everyone can jot down what they need to know. One thing that I would recommend is that we need to understand the branches of US Soccer. Not everything goes to Christie, Paulson, and Cal South. There are things that have to go to specifically to the leagues. Now, keep that in mind. You know, that's one of the things that we always say. Juan alluded to it at the very beginning, that about liability, about understanding that if something is unaffiliated, it just doesn't go to Cal South. If it's, you know, a serious incident, we have to follow through with the leagues. We have to follow through with where we're refereeing. That's the main thing, is we have to understand where things go. We have to stamp it out of our game, and knowledge is power. Protect the green badges, guys. These will be coming out shortly. A lot of referees are already receiving it. You'll see it, on these young souls that we want to make sure enjoy the game, have a great experience. I think experience isn't a word that we use very often, but we should. If you don't love what you do, then why do it? And referees, especially with the ones that have the green badges, are the ones that are looking to have an enjoyable experience so that we can have these referees exceed and continue the path that we all kind of share in terms of refereeing and how much passion that we have for it. Burnout happens, guys, when we don't see the signs. The number one sign now is to have, an identification. When we were younger, Juan and me can speak about this, that we didn't have a green badge, but our presence on the field showed our age and our maturity. And that was developed through mentorship, that was developed through assigners that spoke to us. Now we have another tool, and this is a tool that we need to take advantage of. So, question for the group after that conversation, can we prevent or reduce referee abuse?
Yes.
Use the chat, guys.
We can open the mic to some people that want to speak also, Jesus.
Yeah, absolutely. Barton, what do you think? Can we prevent it?
Yes, yes, absolutely. I think we play a big role here. First, it starts with where you're assigning, which level of games you're putting unexperienced referee or less experienced referee, and who are the crew that are working with them. Are they mature enough? Do they have the experience? Do they have the ability to give to those referees to support them and mentor them? On top of that, us as assigners, if we are on the field, maybe we can't be everywhere, but at least we know where our young and less experienced referees are assigned, which games, which fields, etc. And just go visit, watch them, support them, help them. I think we play a big role.
Anyone else? Open up your mic. Let us know what you think.
Well, he summed it up pretty well. Age appropriate, skill level, skill appropriate. Sometimes you may take a little risk, but the bottom line is, I mean, the youth referees, everybody thinks put them on all the little games, little kids' games on up, but a lot of times that's where they get abused, even on the touchline. So one's got to consider that when they're coming up, and always have those who are strong enough to protect them, not be old school saying, just take it. This is how you learn thick skin. That's all crap. But also be able to be strong enough to manage the coaches, technical area, and the spectators, because you got to cut out the cancer. If you do that, that team learns, that club learns.
Absolutely. And in the chat, I agree, proper level of officials. Robert with, pregame is vital, preparing for any match. Thank you for those comments, guys. All positive stuff there.
Also assigning the referees with the proper crew, with a mentor, somebody that's not gonna teach them weird ways, the proper ways to teach them. Sorry about that.
Thank you, Chris. Absolutely.
Yeah, I do want, and Chris, you had an echo. You kind of sounded like Art LeBeau, which was one of my favorite radio talk show
Huggy
hosts.
boy. Huggy boy. Come on, Juan.
so I do want to mention something that is important that I've seen. If you have a lot of games on a certain weekend, and I've seen it from many assigners that have done this, but I've also seen it where assigners haven't done this. And if you have a lot of games, have a network between each other. Have 3-4 assigners that you trust, that you can call on a Friday. Hey, can you help me? Instead of scraping sometimes the bottom of the barrel where, man, I don't really want to put that person out there because I've had 3 weekends of trouble. Use each other, help each other. I know a lot of you, you have big tournaments and you sub-assign the fields, and that's great, and everybody's helping each other, but also try to do it when it's not just big tournaments, right? Maybe it takes 2 or 3 people that you're using from, one of your assigners in your network, but that might be the difference between having a good weekend and a bad weekend, right? So, support each other. That's what we're here for. If we're just there for trying to snag up a league or a tournament, that's not what we want. I think the recommendation of the signers is let's be more united, right? And then the people won't screw with us, because if they come to, Chris and say, "Hey, Chris, I have a one-off game," and Chris says, "Oh, it's really tough to cover. I have referees that are working the whole weekend," and they go to another signer and he says the same thing. Well, maybe they'll assign another game on top of that one-off game, right? Because they're gonna get the picture real quick. So I think supporting each other is key.
Well, I would say that we predicted it because, our assigner impact is listed here. We've spoken about this stuff already. We assign based off experience. More importantly, we assign with the proper attitude, the adaptability and work rate to service the game. We assign referees that are focused, that we give them mentors that are just as equally as focused. We assign to develop and not cover. That is the model, guys. And it's hard to kind of say because we do have to cover matches, but that can't be the reason why we assign referees. We have to assign with purpose. We have to find value and give them that feedback of not only am I assigning you, but there's value of putting you on this assignment. And it's difficult when you have 500 matches to assign. It's difficult to pick apart things. But when you see names on whether the Excel sheet or you handwrite them or you see them on the system, those are referees you can count on because you see them come week after week and be assigned by you because you're giving them value. So understand that what you're looking for is that attitude, the adaptability, and the work rate. Questions, guys? About anything, not just about the presentation, guys, about anything, feel free.
Yeah, the mustache and goatee, Jess, looks pretty cool. Just wanted to give you a heads up, man.
Thanks.
I got
Yeah, that to be my age these days.
I got a couple of referees, young, very young, that received their green badge, but it was not fitting and it was falling or going down while they're working, and they got frustrated a couple of times. They removed it. Is that a standard size for everyone, or
Yeah.
should communicate with their mothers to fix it, or I don't know.
Yeah, I think if they can alter it, I think we tried it on, and because I have large arms, right? I think it was a little bit smaller.
Okay.
Hitting the gym is probably a good idea as well, Jesus.
I was gonna say, like, make them do push-ups until their arms grow big enough.
Well, the guys are okay. I think there was a couple of young female referees that they were struggling.
Yeah, no.
Hopefully they can alter them. Maybe putting a pin,
Yeah,
a
maybe.
safety pin would be a good idea as well. I've seen others do that as well.
Okay, thank you. I know it's off.
No. It's great question. It's
Yes.
a place to ask.
The new badge they're getting, it isn't Velcro that they can put it right on their chest. It is only for the arm. Is that what I'm hearing?
No, they're sending out the green badges for the young referees that register, and then we also have we started the armband initiative a year before they came out with this. I don't know if Juan got like a little bird that talked in his ear about this coming out, so we beat U.S. Soccer to the punch. So now we have both. So we have the ability of using both. If you do have an 18 under 18 referee that doesn't have the green badge, then have the armband for them, so at least they're identified, and then we'll figure out what's wrong with the paperwork and why they didn't receive it.
Okay, so he was referring just now, that gentleman, to the respect armband.
Right.
Okay, I was looking at that badge earlier that you showed. I got it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thanks.
But I thought if they recertify or register for 2026 and they're youth under 18, they will receive the green badge, right?
They should. That's it.
Badge on
So there's both options. Again, there are both options. The only thing is they should be receiving it. If they don't, let us know. We'll figure out what's going on. But in the meantime, they should definitely wear the armband.
Okay.
And definitely identify themselves.
Interesting. Okay.
Thank you.
Cool.
Any other questions? Anything that's happening in your world that you have questions for, now's the time.
I do, real fast. Sorry. I just got back from Cancun. I drank too much. I'm trying to get off it. How do I do that?
That's it.
Oh,
I have a
just tell us that. Okay.
I have a question.
Sure.
How do I have a men's league that they play fall and spring, but I know that they are not affiliated. How do I encourage them, and what do they need to do to be affiliated? Because I look to a lot of our referees who wants to be advanced to be assessed on those games, and usually there's set of 3 games a Sunday, and it's perfect, I think, for assessment. But they're not affiliated, and how can I help them or push them or convince them to do that? And what are the requirements
Well, let's set up a meeting, an in-person meeting.
with them?
With them. We can assist them, myself or Juan. We can go down there and meet them. We can go over the credentials. One of the things that we are working on is to create pathways. We want to, there's a lot of it, like you said, there's a lot of adult leagues that are unaffiliated, and we could use those matches to help our referees advance. So we can create pathways, within the systems that are currently, whether it be, the U.S. soccer model, to get, or U.S. I always mess up their name, U.S.
ASA.
Yeah, and get them streamlined into the system. Um, let's talk offline for time. We can help.
Okay.
Yeah,
I have a question.
sure.
What percentage of games are now SoCal versus CSL, and what is the estimate for next year?
So those numbers we don't have because we don't have governance over the SoCal since they're a U.S. club. So I couldn't tell you exactly what they have as far as CSL's numbers. I could draft something for you and send it to you. But again, we don't have governance over SoCal. At least Cal South doesn't, and the referee program is neutral to all this, so we wouldn't necessarily have those numbers. But yeah, that's the way I can tell you.
Yeah, this year it was very dramatic, the change in numbers of SoCal signing versus CSL, at least in my area. So I'm just wondering if the numbers are going to get bigger next year.
It changes on the area that you're at, right? So like
That's true.
LA County is mostly CSL. There is SoCal there as well. There's a big presence. If you go into San Diego, it's mostly SoCal, right? And I think in your area,
All of it's okay.
only SoCal, yeah. In your area, Louis, it's mostly SoCal. There's some areas in the IE that it's only CSL, so it kind of depends on where you are.
Okay, thank you.
Good question.
No, it was a great question.
Anything else before we end the meeting?
No, you guys did a fine job. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Jesus, final thoughts.
Guys, up and coming our State Cup National Cup for both organizations, US Club and USYS. Keep in mind, I will be sending out the field assignments for State Cup and National Cup. I'm happy to announce we've solidified venues for that. We will be, first few weekends will be in Lancaster, California. So I'll send out those assignments to everyone as soon as possible so that you guys can pre-schedule everything. I'll have conversations with all of you. I'll send out separate emails for that. But I just want to say I appreciate everyone. This year has been interesting to learn. Obviously there's a lot of things that I took on this position that I feel, we can make changes collectively. I think that that's one of the things that we're going to bring to 2026 is change in the sense of dynamic, change in the way that we do payments, change in the way that we structure things. I think these meetings that we're having now with the instruction being different is part of it. So, while I'm in this position, while this SRC is here, we will continue to service you guys. Please reach out if you guys have any issues, concerns with anything. My email is always open to you. I'll respond as quickly as possible. We carry multiple hats within the organization now. So I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for this 2025 season. And I look forward to 2026 with all of you there. Thank you.
Thank you, Jesus. My final thoughts is this is an incredible group. of such experienced officials. And, there's so much success that the referee program has had even before this administration, even in the past. And, we're recognized as one of the top referee programs in the country, especially in the eyes of US soccer. And it's because of the work that everybody in this room has done, and all the effort and the dedication. So I also echo what Jesus is saying. Thank you for that. Let's continue and let's strive for more, right? There's so much more that we could do, and let's try to do it together as one unit. I think that's how we can be strong, is that if we feel that we're part of a unit together instead of versus each other. And I can see that already, that change over the past years, where it seems like really friendly to work in this referee program. So I appreciate you. My phone, my email is always available, and hopefully you guys have a great holiday season. Happy New Year, and we'll see you on the field next year. Take care, everybody.
Same to you.
Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad, guys.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.
See ya.
Thank you, guys. Have a nice holiday. Take care.
Thanks, Guzman. Thanks, Cisneros.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.